Right. So let's talk about that night outside the Arizona restaurant in 2014. Can you talk us through exactly what happened?
Well, in a brief sense, my wife and I were out with some other retired friends. Her and I were threatened. Then I was viciously attacked, not by one person, Rachel, but by two twice, one of them wielding a knife. And the entire thing was on video. It was self-defense. But when the police showed up without any investigation or due process, they're the ones that arrested me and charged me with attempted murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault within 5 hours.
Right. So got it. But like, tell me, like, were you guys there for dinner? Were you
Yes.
okay? So tell me, like, what was going on that night? You're just having a
Okay.
nice
So,
dinner. Did people get drunk? Like, what happened?
all right. So there were five couples total. One
Mhm.
of them had left just a little bit earlier. We met there for dinner, drinks, and dancing. And it was about 10:30. I had told my wife, I said, hey, I'm going to go out to the car and get a fresh can of Copenhagen. This guy that had become very fresh with our women, all of the women in our group earlier in the evening, tried to pick a fight with me. And I said, I'm not
Inside
fighting you.
inside the restaurant.
Correct. I
Yeah.
said, I'm
Okay.
not fighting you. I said, I'm too damn old to get in a barroom fight. I'm not doing
Hmm.
it. And I walked away, not once, but twice.
Hmm.
Well, apparently he didn't like that. And he followed me outside. And then I tried to go back in, and you know that bully yard stuff that they try to do, put your hands in your pockets and push on the shoulder.
Yeah.
He was doing that to me. I got around him, but then he got hold of my belt loop. He was outweighed me by 100 pounds, picked me up, threw me headfirst into a cinder block wall, 180 degrees, gave me a concussion, broke a rib, and then I said, I'm going back inside. I'm getting my wife and my belongings. The bouncer had come out. That's when he said, and the bouncer wasn't throwing him out in accordance with Arizona law or the security.
Hmm.
And he threatened my wife then. He said, you're not going back in there. That B is mine. And that's when I said, understand I'm armed. And then he attacked me again, holding a weapon.
Got it. So, and how did he attack you again?
I brandished my firearm in accordance with Arizona law,
Hmm.
and I had it down at my side. And I said, I'm going back in the building. He was blocking the door. And before I could even get my arm down when I was pointing at him, he attacked me again, going for the gun. And that's when his buddy who pulled a knife attacked me from behind.
Oh, wow. Okay. So,
And
and how many witnesses were there? Were there people outside?
yes, there were several witnesses outside. Well, to be specific, uh, 4 or 5. There was 5, but all of them were his friends.
Oh, got it. Okay.
All
So there
right.
was no security outside. Your wife wasn't outside. There was
No,
nobody.
none of my friends that were all retired military, special forces guys, or special operators just like me. Everybody was inside.
Got it. Okay. So they both come at you, you fire, and what happens?
Well, they tackled me.
Hmm.
I was doing everything I could not to fire the weapon,
Hmm.
but then they got me down on the ground. One of them had me in a bear hug. The other one was breaking my arm, trying to get the weapon out of my hand,
Hmm.
and then the weapon discharged. My last words to him before discharge, I said, "This is going to suck for both of us."
Right.
And
Eh,
and that's when he fell off. That's when my friends came out. They started helping me. I sat off to the side, and then the police showed up.
got it. And so what ultimately happened to the two people? So it was two people that were basically on top of you, right? What happened ultimately to those two?
Uh, the one was wounded. He's I have heard that he's wearing a colostomy bag the rest of his life.
Okay.
The other man, nothing. They weren't charged with anything.
Okay. Got it. So at what point did you realize that this was not necessarily just an unfortunate incident, a bar fight, and that this was going to be a much bigger deal?
Once I started talking to the detective,
Okay.
he came in because I wasn't trying to hide anything. I said, okay, this was strictly self-defense. So I told him what happened. He comes back in about 30 minutes later, hands me a sheet, tells me to read it and sign it. I asked him what it was. He said, it's a charge sheet. I said, a charge sheet for what? He goes, attempted murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault. And I said, I told you it was strictly self-defense. And his exact words to me, and all this is on recording and transcribed. He said, well, we have the whole thing on video. I said, great. Have you looked at the video? His exact words to me, Rachel, not yet. I looked at him. I said, oh, you're a real intelligent life form. The oxygen is just flowing to your brain. So that didn't go over too well with him.
I was going to say that probably didn't work in your favor, but okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't make up stupid.
I get it. I get it. So did you sign it, or did you say I'm not signing it?
No, I refused to sign it.
Okay. And next move, they said, well, we're taking you down to the station, or what happened?
Well, no, they already had me in the station. They had me in the interview room. They were recording the entire thing. They then said, okay, we're taking you down and we're going to go ahead and book you. They booked me. They threw me in jail with no medical for 5 days. I had a concussion, broken rib, broken arm, and contused left shoulder.
So meanwhile, what's going through your mind as you were being arrested?
I'm thinking this is crazy. When I first got in the interview room, the first thing I did when I got in there was I prayed. I prayed for about 2 or 3 minutes, and I was more focused on the young man that had been shot, because it makes seeing some of the things that I've seen in my military career, you never want to hurt somebody. All right. And you want, that the alcohol just got to him and he was extremely intoxicated. And to this day, I don't know why he wanted to take me out, but he did. But
right.
For whatever reason. But that was what I focused on. But as I started to get into it, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is absurd.
Right.
And so when I was in the cell, I got my Bible and I started reading. I got a Bible from the cart that they carry around and started reading.
Right. And at this point, had you been somebody that was very religious or read the Bible before?
Yes, ma'am. I've been strong in my faith for at that point, about 15 years, and this just made me even stronger. I did a lot of wailing at God throughout this turmoil, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I mean, I'm curious, was it going through your head like, okay, well, they're eventually going to watch this videotape. This is all going to end by the end of the week. Someone's going to come get me. Were you worried about your wife? Like how were you dealing with this?
Well, that's exactly what it was. Well, first off, I had to get out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
There was a $500,000 cash only bond over a weekend. It wasn't even an surety bond where you pay an insurance company.
Yeah.
They $500,000 cash only. So it took me 2 business days to get that capital out of our investments and stuff and go ahead and post that bond. And then when we got out, I had to get an attorney because the attorney that we knew that got me out of jail, he looked at me, he goes, Barry, this is way above my level. I can't handle this. He goes, these are the attorneys I recommend for you. And he gave me the name at the top of the list was a guy by the name of Michael Kimmer. And he was the number 1 or number 2 attorney on the Miranda rights case in 1969. So he's in his 70s now. Brilliant legal mind. Mm-hmm. And he took my case. And he got the video. This is what the sad thing was. They took it to the grand jury. They didn't even use the video.
But so how is that even possible? I mean, it just seems so crazy that it wouldn't be used.
Well, this is how crazy it is. My case was sent back to the grand jury, Rachel, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. And not one time did that prosecutor follow the judge's orders and present the videos.
Why do you think that was?
Because he had a narrative. He wanted to do it. Have you ever heard the term, Rachel, you can indict a ham sandwich in a grand jury?
No, but it's great. It's great.
It is. The American public is so uninformed about the judicial system underneath. The court saved me, but the system underneath is broken. There is no judge and no defense in a grand jury. Right. The prosecutor is supposed to be a minister of justice and present all the facts and then let the chips fall where they may.